We're going to start off with Joao Crestana. Joao Crestana represents SECOVI in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So SECOVI was our first partner ever, and we are the Ambassador Association for NAR to SECOVI, and we're always happy to have our good friend Joao Crestana here with us.
Thanks, Linda. Good afternoon, dear foreigners and Miami citizens as well. It's an honor to be here with you. 25 years, that's a lot of time. Congratulations to the whole organization. What I would like to tell you in these 10 minutes is what is happening to our country, which is good news. The economy is going well. We had a change in politics last year. We got rid of the Labour's Party, who was very bad for the country. The corruption was very important, and now we're changing it. The government that we have is very specific, and the president that we have is a human being. He commits mistakes, as I commit mistakes as well. His family commits a lot of mistakes, but the work that he's doing, the ministers are showing achievements, and very important achievements, that took our country from a bankruptcy situation to a recovering situation, slow recovering situation. Just to give you an idea, Brazil has this more or less the same area as the United States. Brazil is 850 hectares. In the United States, the continent, without Alaska, 760 approximately. With Alaska, 950. So the United States is larger in area if you consider Alaska. I'm just making the point that all this area that we have, it seems that the country is a very rich country. You have a large area. So let's say our friends in France here, Mr. Macron, the president of France, was warning us that there was a burning in Brazil. And the burning that there was in Brazil was a seasonal problem, seasonal phenomenon. Just like in California today, just like in Portugal 4 or 5 months ago, there was an opportunity for this guy to try to get an advantage on top of Brazil. And that is not good for the world. Brazil preserves, as we will see here very briefly, for Indians, for conservation units, for military areas. We have almost 65%. We have almost 65% of the area of Brazil which is not usable. By law, it's a reservation, it's indigenous areas. The area that is preserved in Brazil is around 50% of Brazil, and if you take into consideration the military areas as well, 66%, which is not allowed to do anything, including the private areas. Let's suppose you own an area in Brazil, depending on where it is, if it is in the Amazon, you should preserve 80% of it by law. And you're not giving anything for that. In the southern portion of Brazil, 20 or 30%. What I mean here is, Brazil is a poor country trying to, let's say for instance, in the Amazon, we have 20 million people living there without employment sometimes, without a way to live, including 200 or 300,000 Brazilian Indians. So what I say is, Brazil has to develop, guarding the environment. But this is something that we have to show the world. Our country, just like Germany, for instance, just like the United States, have resources that have to be used with the care for environment. This is a very topic issue, a very contemporary issue that I would like to mention to you. Our economy changed in the last year. starting in 2015 and 16, we had a huge recession as a result of the corruption of the country. And now we are recovering very briefly. Construction GDP lags with a delay the same movement. We are recovering as well. We lost so many jobs in Brazil in the last years. From 2014 to 2017, we lost too many jobs. The current unemployment rate in Brazil is around 12%, and plus around 8% that do not look for employment any longer. They just gave up. Now we are recovering as well. You may see that both in the global scenario and the construction. The real estate market is recovering as well. The important number that you may see here is the one right here, which is 11% more launchings in Brazil than it used to be. And together with this launching, we had 16% more sales, which means our inventory, our offer is diminishing. We have less houses, less offices in inventory to sell. So we need to build more. So it's an upward movement, which is the message I would like to leave to you. The final offer diminished almost 9%. In São Paulo, which is the most important or the greatest market in Brazil, we have the same upward move, improving launchings and improving sales as well. In São Paulo, not only we have the problem, the structural problem of the country, which is the economy that now is recovering, but also we have a very bad urban planning that we are changing a little bit now. The achievements that our country could get last year for this new government, we approved a pension fund, a retirement reform. That was very important. In 10 years, we are expected to save a huge amount of money with this reform. Close to 1 gross domestic product of the country in 10 years. We will save by doing this retirement reform. That was approved in Brazil. There was something very difficult in the whole world, and we did it. The infrastructure, which was deteriorating in Brazil, it's almost recovering the pace that was showing in 20 years ago. And the economy is controlled. We hope to adjust taxes, to improve our tax system. The platform of taxes in Brazil is very outdated and is being improved. That means business. Privatization, you don't know, somebody that takes for granted what you have here in the States, the private industry. In Brazil, that is covered by the public sector, and we're getting a good hedge on that as well. The last point that you see there, administrative reform, is the public sector, where somebody of the public sector will gain many times, 10 times more the equivalent that works in the private sector. So we are changing that. The message that I would like to leave to you is, with the economy recovery in Brazil, the interest rates are going down. In the last 10 or 20 years, the best way in Brazil to make money was interest rates. It's a shame, but it was. And now, with the very low interest rates, that means Brazilian investors will go to real estate. Not only in Brazil, but abroad as well. So opportunity for business, because the opportunities for the investors in Brazil will be returned to real estate. A message, so it's a very positive message. We improved our government, we improved our country. As we do that, many countries in the world will tend to see, well, you left that politically correct trend that you used to do in the past. No, maybe we're not so politically correct, but we're trying to improve the life of our people. As I told you, we have many people that have to improve their lives. Thank you for being here. Linda, thank you, Teresa, and all of you.